something super cool showed up today. It's my Prinsu rack. I've wanted one of these racks since, like, I don't know, my first Toyota Tacoma, and it's finally here. Now, for those of you who don't know what a Prinsu rack is, it's this super awesome rack for Toyota Tacomas. Today I'm going to install it on my truck. As usual, this is more how I installed the rack, not necessarily a how to do it properly. Real quick, I'm just gonna go through some of the hardware that's included. These bolts here are for the crossbars. So there's bolts and washers. You're also gonna get some tie-down rings. This is your main like mounting hardware. These like plugs are gonna go on top of the roof. I'll show you how that works later. This is for the wind deflector. You can see you have like these little things for the T-channels to hook the wind deflector on. I'm not sure what these are for quite yet. Two little spares, but we'll figure that out. This is the wind deflector. It's got the cool Prinsu logo laser etched right out of it. All right, let's take a look at these crossbars. Pretty cool construction on these things. You got that nice edge for your wind deflector. And these are, I mean, they're pretty lightweight. I'm pretty sure these are aluminum. You see that they have these like modular openings here so you can like basically adjust your rack wherever you like. And then I also wanted to show you guys this C channel here. How nice these are. I mean, and again, super lightweight. So, for those of you who are not familiar with my channel, here's the truck that the Prinsu rack is going on. It's my 2016 Toyota Tacoma off-road. I mean, tasteful modifications. It's nothing really major. I think it's gonna look really good with that white and black combo on this truck. I'm super stoked for it. I'm gonna borrow this for a second. So we're gonna start off by assembling our rack all together here on the ground, and then we're gonna move it over and put it onto the truck. These mounting tabs on the edges, they go on the inside, just like this. Now look, there's a specific way that you wanna assemble these pieces of hardware, and I'll show you how. So these are gonna go lock washer, washer. See what I mean there? So the hardware for these racks, they use a star drive. Now you might find it really helpful to add this bit onto a drill like this. This is an impact driver, and I have a chuck for it. What I'm gonna do is just put this bit into the chuck. Now if you don't have one of these, yeah, you can obviously just put it into a screwdriver, but this is gonna be so much faster for my install. So I'm gonna go ahead and start putting the crossbars on. What I'm gonna try to do with mine is I'm gonna try to leave the sunroof area open, at least the majority of it. And I think I'm just gonna go ahead and start with the rearward bar here, just to sort of get things started. And I'm quite certain that I'm gonna just want this as far back as possible. That's pretty quick and easy. Now I'm not gonna tighten it down just yet. I'm going to grab a quick measurement of the sunroof so I can try to get an idea of where I want these bars going. So it's 17 by, well, I guess it doesn't matter which length it is. Something like that with the sunroof opening. Most of it is going to be open. I'm going to go ahead and start assembling it. So there it is. Sunroof opening. I haven't tightened anything down yet because I'm going to measure the gaps in between, and then I've left the windscreen portion of it off, and I'll show you why. When you do your wind deflector, you're going to want to put your T-slots down this bar here for your wind deflector. This might be dumb, but I'm going to get on Instagram and check to make sure that I put this windscreen on the right direction. So I'm going to go to Prinsu's page and double check, because they're gonna know how to do it right. It's the left-hand side. See that? Can you see it? That's important. You don't want to be repping a backwards P. That's weird. All right, let's wrap this thing up here. You're gonna take your C channel deals, and what you're gonna do is slide them down. I'm gonna slide that sucker down there. And I'm just using a pick like this to help me line them up. Super easy. And again, like I said, what we're gonna do, we're gonna go lock washer, big washer, and that's just like that, okay? I'm gonna lift this guy on. Bolts aren't quite lining up right. It's pretty easy to so you just don't tighten those guys down all the way, and then you can just sort of slide the whole deal until you line up with your slots. Would you just look at it? Once you've flushed up both sides, you can go ahead and torque everything down. If you're going to be doing this, it's nice to have like a step stool if your truck's as manly as mine is and super high. It's going to come in handy. So I got my little giant out, and I'm going to go ahead and pull the weather stripping off. Now the weather stripping is something that most people complain about. They say it's really hard to cut. You don't have to cut it. You can just pull the whole thing out and just leave it. But it kind of looks nice to have the weather stripping in there instead of just having that channel that fills up with dirt. So I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to try cutting it, and if it messes it up, then I'll just get rid of it. But I'm going to just cut the chunks out that need to be cut out. So your first step is to peel back the weather stripping. Now I'm just going to try to use this flathead screwdriver to kind of get back in there. Don't pry against your windshield, maybe pry against this little bit of rubber here. There, it just pops out of a little clasp. And I'll go ahead and pull it back. So when you pull this up, you're going to see a painted tab, right? So that is basically just a sticker from the factory, and they paint right over it. So there you have it, 2 factory holes, pre-tapped, designed for the factory roof rack, and that's what we're going to be mounting our Prinsu to. I think I'm just going to scrape up this sticker deal. So that came off. This one's just got 1 screw hole here. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark with my grease pen or whatever you can find. They got 1 there. Sticker. Okay, so here's what I'm doing. I've got a SAWSALL with like a metal cutting blade. I've clamped it down to this board here. I'm going to hold it this side with this hand, and hopefully it just slices right through. We don't know yet though. Yeah, it cut through it, but it's not very pretty. That went right through. That was a good one. Yeah, this is pretty easy. So I've got my pieces cut, and I'm gonna go ahead and clean them all up on that grinding wheel and then go test fit them. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing for the other side, and then I'll check back up with you guys when we're ready to put the rack on. Now that I got all the weather stripping pieces cut, they can kind of free float. And what'll happen is they'll shift and slide. Now they can only slide as far as our bolt holes go, but that might just create weird gaps and rattling. So what I'm going to do is clean out these things, and when we use the silicone that we're going to use to waterproof these holes, I'm going to use little dabs of it to sort of glue these things down in a sense. All right, we're almost done, guys. Now we're getting to the part where we're going to grab our mounting hardware. You're going to need a 10mm socket, and some silicone, okay? Let me grab my silicone. Where'd it go? You'll see why you need the silicone here in a second. This is the silicone that I'm using. It's just clear DAP. So we're gonna put this inside of our pre-tapped screw holes. What you're gonna do is you're gonna stick a little dollop of this right into the screw hole. I know how it gets. I know you're just in a hurry to get this project done, but take your time with this. Make sure you do this step. This is a really important step. You don't want a small leak going into your headliner that you'd probably never know about. It would just make your truck smell like Yoda's feet, all swampy and gross. When it comes to water damage, you just can't be too careful. This is the fun part. This is the part where we're gonna lift the rack onto those little knobby deals that I just glued in place with the silicone. And this is where you might need the help of a friend, or maybe, like in my case, your smoking hot wife. So I'm gonna go see if I can convince her to come help me. She's pregnant right now, so she probably doesn't want to, but we'll see. But we're gonna lift this sucker on and then wrap everything up, and I think it's gonna look awesome. I'm super stoked. Hey honey.
Hi.
Will you help me lift the rack onto my truck? Gonna slide down in place, push it through the silicone, and try to find those threads. All right, there it is. The roof rack is installed. It looks awesome. I think I'm really gonna like having this thing on there. It looks sweet. I wanted to do this since I first saw the Prinsu rack. Check it out.